Hello everyone, it's Indy again, and today I'm going to give you a basic tutorial on how to edit code for Toyhouse, because I've been getting quite a few questions about how to make your profile and your characters look pretty, and coding can be a little bit complicated, so I thought I'd make a little video on how to edit code, just to give you a bit of help on how to get things started. So as you can see, this is my profile. I have edited a code to make it look all pretty, and you can also do the same thing for characters. That's one of my favourite free to use codes. This is the same code. You can just do lots of different things with it to make it very interesting. You can use any code you like for your profile or your characters. But today I'm going to be demonstrating with this one because it has a lot of features that I can show you how to customize. So if you want to find a code, you can always go to Browse, and in the tags section you can just type in code and search that, and then lots of free to use or pay to use codes will come up. Have a look through and see which one you like, but as I mentioned before, I'm just going to use this one today. So to grab your code, there'll usually be a link to find it, and then there'll be the raw format of it. So you can just go down to the raw paste data down the bottom, select all, copy, and then you can go to your character you want to code. I've just made this basic. I've made a character to test the code basically on my spare account. So then down here you go to manage character and edit profile, and then in this box is where you can do all your coding. Now something quite important is this feature over here, WYSIWYG. For coding, to keep it all intact and quite neat in placement, you want to have it disabled. Now a little bit of an odd thing about Toyhouse is if you enter the page with it enabled, like say I type something, and then you disable it, you can see the code, but it's, kind of plain textish. Whereas if you already have it disabled and you refresh the page, then it will go into this coding format. So it will have numbered lines and it will keep things in place. So it's best to do that. So disable WYSIWYG and refresh the page so you get this format. Then I'm just going to go ahead and paste the code in. Now this might look a little bit overwhelming. I don't blame you, coding can be a bit complicated, but hopefully this tutorial will help you just see how to edit some things, make it how you want without going too in depth into making your own code, because that's much more difficult. So anything in these exclamation marks are not going to show up, they're just sort of notes. So this user has very kindly left some nice notes and some rules to use. So if I were to go now and click update character and then go onto the character itself, you can see it's got the default code profile now. So that's, it's your basic layout. So if you want to change that, you can usually find the sections labelled. So if I want to change the background image, these are just some guidelines that they're giving, but you want to go down to this section here, and you can see where it says background image URL. This is the image URL, or the image domain of the image you want to use for your background. So it's best to use some free to use images. A good place to find some of those is a place called Unsplash. They're all free to use, but it's still very nice to credit them. There's usually a little box where you can credit people. So if I just search for something simple like cherry blossom, and I might want to use this image for example, then click on it and right click, and you go to copy image location. You don't want to copy the link up here because that won't work for putting in the image. It's always copy image location. So then I can go back onto the code and I can paste that in here. And it will often bring up this automatic resize thing. So sometimes some images will come up a different size and you might have to play around with the width and the height to get it to fit how you want, basically. So I'm going to leave it as it is for now. This information is basically talking about how the image is going to be on the screen if it stays still when you scroll and stuff. I don't tend to mess with that. These radius boxes are just how the corners are rounded off. I quite like them how they are. If you want more rounding, you can change the pixels to a higher number. If you don't want any, you can set it to 0. So if I were to go update that now to show you what that's done, and go back to the profile, refresh, you can see it's got the blossom background, but you can also see it's got this break in it, and that's because of the cropping size that I mentioned. So if I go back onto the code, and coding can often be quite a bit of trial and error. So if I go to this width setting and make that 1200, so just doubling it roughly, and if I set this to say 200, might get it wrong, but as I said, it's trial and error. Let's go back, refresh, and there we go. It's much bigger now. There's no line break in it. I could probably make it smaller if I wanted to, but this does the job for now, just to demonstrate that you can resize images. If your image doesn't come up with this resizing section, you can always add it in yourself by adding auto equals format plus fit equals crop, blah, blah, blah. But you can probably look up that online. If you look up online any questions, it can usually give you helpful answers on how to code things. So anyway, next we're going to change this character image here. So I'm going to go, yeah, this is giving you another helpful guideline on how to change it. So you're going to go to the image source part and do the same as we did before. We're going to highlight that and go and find our character image, which I did not prepare. Let me go to one of my profiles, going to go to one of my characters. I'm recreating the profile I did for this one basically. So if I just get this image, copy image location, yeah, it does give you a recommendation of what size, but you can always have a play around trial and error. So I'm just going to paste that in there. And now if I go down and update and refresh the character, voila, it has inserted that image for me. Now the boxes over here, you may want them to be a different colour, which is quite easy to do, but you will need to look up some colour codes online. So first I'll just find the section. There's quite a bit of looking for sections. Character image, name box, right, so this box here. So this background section with RGBA, this means this is basically the colour profile. So red, blue, no, red, green, blue, and then this last number is the transparency. So if you set it to 1, it'll be a solid colour, and if you have it anywhere below 1, it'll be semi-transparent, depending on the number you put in here. So if you want to make it less transparent, you could set it to 0.9. If you want it really transparent, you could set it to 0.3. I'm just going to keep it about 0.6. So for the colours, you can just go online and search hex colours. And there's a very helpful website I like to use, which is just htmlcolorcodes.com. Because here you've got a lovely colour picker, and no matter where you go on the colour picker, it gives you all of the values, the hex codes, the RGB values, and CMYK if you wanted to use those. So I'm just going to go to a nice purpley pink. and I can see the values of the colour I've chosen here. So if I just go in and type 193, 102, 222 into these boxes here, can't remember the value, 102, 222, like that, and then I'll update to show you what that's done again. Refresh the page, and voila, the box is now the pinky purple colour. I'll just quickly demonstrate what it will look like if I make it more transparent. So if I set this to 0.2 and update, refresh, there we go, it's much more transparent, which does look quite nice. I might actually set it to about 0.4. So coding takes quite a bit of getting used to, it's just practice really. This isn't really coding, it's just code editing. It's quite, yeah, I can't even hold a candle to the people who write this code from scratch. That's amazing. So anyway, next thing, if you want to make all the boxes the same colour, then I'm just going to copy the numbers in here and scroll down to each other section where they show up. So you can usually find them in these box sections. So there's another one here, paste that in, another one here, paste that in, and then that should be it. So if I update, go to the code tester, and voila, now they're all pink. Lovely. Now, handy thing about having this WYSIWYG coding disabled is that you get these nice colours, so you can easily differentiate what parts you need to edit, what parts you don't. So the green parts are just notes, the blue parts are things you can edit, the red parts are sort of essential coding indicators, and these white parts or grey parts are like the text you can actually enter that will show up on your profile. So in this name section, this grey part that says name, I'm just going to type in character, and then here I'm going to put human, they, them, and I'll just put some question marks for now, doesn't matter. And then here on the grey code again, you can write your description of your character. So if I just type in, this is my character. So, and then you can basically follow this for every part. All these grey parts are text that will show up on the profile that you can enter. So likes and dislikes, you can change those there. If I just put, oh, accidentally deleted something. If I were to put pizza in big capital letters, just to demonstrate, and then I go down to the bottom, update character, refresh the page, and now you can see where I entered the name character, human, they, them. Just realised I used a picture of a canine when I put in human, doesn't matter, just an example. And then this is my character, and there's pizza. So if you want to do some slightly more advanced things, you can change these icons. I think they're called fast-far codes or fast codes. There's something else I was going to talk about. Trying to remember what it was. Oh yes, links. Links can be quite useful. So if you want to put in your description a link but not have it show up as the URL, then there is a specific code that once you use quite a few times you'll know off the back of your chest. So if I were to go just copy this link, and if you want to add a line break in your text, sorry, getting a bit off track here. If you go down to the next line and type something else like new line, I will show you when I update. It doesn't quite work that way. So if I refresh, see, it's not on a new line. That's because you actually need to code in the new line itself. So if I go back down to my grey box, this is my character, new line. You don't even need a new line for it. You can just put in these crocodile clips I can't remember the actual name for them, and you type in BR for a line break, and that preserves the format of the text. So this text here is for the format of the text. Sometimes you can also make a new line by typing in crocodile clips and P, and then this will automatically bring up a closed P because it needs to close off the line. So if I type in new line here and update character, refresh. So you can see that both of them now have new lines, but this text on the third line is slightly different to the original, and that's because P has broken the formatting of the text. So sometimes it's fine to use P, sometimes it's best to use BR, and in BR you don't have to close it, so it's a bit more easy to keep track of. So I'm just going to delete the new line with P. So I'm just going to do another new line, so BR, and if I want to put in a link, like the one I've copied before, and then I'll update character to show you. Now it's entered, oh, bit of lag. Now it's entered this link, but if you don't want the link this colour, or you don't want the link to have, to look like this, you can edit that with code. So if I go down and find my link, I'm just going to remove that now to make it easier. So this is kind of one you just have to look up or learn and remember, but it's crocodile clips A space href equals quotation marks, then you put in your link, and then after the quotation marks, close crocodile clip and type in what you want the link to look like. So if I put in link, and then it's another crocodile clip. Oh, it's already added it in for me, but this is crocodile clip. What is that called? A hash? No, I can't remember. I'm panicking. And then A, and then close crocodile clips. So now if I go to update, it's a forward slash, that's what it is. Now it looks like link. And if I were to click on the link, it will still take me to the location of the link that I copied. If I don't want the link to be this colour, I can change that. This is one I don't quite remember off the top of my head, so if you search in HTML for the sort of the coding, change link color, then it gives you some useful information. I'm going to just go here because I know that this is where I usually get it from. Or is it? Maybe not. I know it's a style thing. Hang on. Yeah, no, it's this bit. I'm just going to use this bit. So you can see here the thing that I've already shown you, aref equals the link. Then after the quotation marks, there's a space, style, colour, and then that's when the closed brackets comes in. So I'm just going to copy that, go down to my link. So after the quotation marks, paste that in. And now colour, you can actually change that to a hex code. So the hex code is this here. I'll make it a dark blue. Actually, no. I'll make it a red just to demonstrate. So I'll copy that and paste that in here, and then update character. And now you can see the link is red. Lovely. And again, if you just want to change it, just go to your color HTML color thing, select a color, copy the hex code, go down to the link, and just paste it in here after color. And voila, now it's blue, and I can barely see it. So, as I mentioned before, these boxes, yes. So, if I were to go down to the likes and dislikes section, and have a little look. Oh, it's here. Right, this is what I was looking for. This here, the I class, you can usually tell an icon by this fast code. This is the icon for this little tick box here. So if I go online and look up font awesome, that's a good place where I usually find them. Yeah. So if I just go up here and search icons and you want to change it to something else like a paintbrush, just search paintbrush and then it will show you lots of different icons of a paintbrush you can use. So if I decide that I like this one here, if you click on that, it will just copy it. And then I can go here to the eye class part and paste that in. Now I just noticed I've got a double one of the closed eye brackets, so I'm just going to delete that. Update character. Go here, refresh, and you can see the little icon has changed into a paintbrush. So that's quite a nice little thing to do. And finally, something else that's quite important. If I go back to where I found Cherry Blossom, I just want to credit the person who took this photo. So I'm going to go to their profile, copy the link, and down here you've got this credit section. Character image credit, that was the wolf picture. I'm just going to use my profile. No. I may have got that wrong. No, that's fine. So this section is for the link of the credit, and then this section here is when you hover over it, what text will come up. So if I say character image by the animations, and then here the background credit, I will paste in the link that I copied, and I'm just going to type background by Tomoko Uji. And then this is the credit for the code down here. It's kind of frowned upon to remove the credit of the code, so you usually just leave that alone so other people can find it, and just, you know, as a bit of a thank you to the person who took the time to write this code out. So if I refresh, if I hover here, character image by Indie Animations, background by Tomoko Uji, and if I were to click on that, it would take me to the profile of the person who took the photo. And that is the basics of how to code a character. And you can use this for your profile as well. If you want to code your profile, you just hover up your name on the top right, you go down to settings, and then you go to profile content. And in there you will see the same editor as I've shown you here. You just make sure you've got WYSIWYG disabled, and you can post in any free code you find and just edit it the same way I have shown you here. I'm not going to go into too much more detail about nitty-gritty things you can do, because this is basically the basics of how to edit things, and I don't want to make this video too long. It's just to give you a little insight on how to make things look nice. If you want to actually start making your own code, then you're probably going to need to look up some more in-depth tutorials. But I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope it's been useful. If you have any questions, just drop me a comment in the comment section below, and I hope you have a lovely day. Okay, thank you for watching. Bye.